Hey, good evening. This is Kevin Martin and Jeff Poshman. We're here at the New Jersey HiRailers, the epicenter of modern railroading. And we're going to take a look at some boxcars that Jeffrey picked up at York this past weekend. Yep, was it a weekend or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It doesn't really matter. At York in York, Pennsylvania, at the last TCA show. So Jeffrey, why don't you give us a little heads up on what you got here?
All right, so I got two of the brand new Lionel PS1 boxcars. I have the Illinois Central boxcar right here. This is what's called the grain door boxcar, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but this is item number 6-83572, and this was released in the 2016 Volume 2 catalog. Put this back here, and then I have the Central Railroad of New Jersey Express boxcar, item number 6-83562. And this was released as well in the 2016 Volume 2 catalog. Now these are both the PS1 boxcars, and the PS1 boxcars were built by Pullman in the late 1940s, well into the 1960s, the early 1960s. And they were built by the numbers. They were incredibly popular. Around this time, the railroads were looking to get rid of their old woodside boxcars, and they went to these nice steel boxcars. They were incredibly successful. In fact, you can count the number of railroads on your fingers that did not buy PS1 boxcars. So they quickly became the standard boxcar scene on the railroads. They served well into the 80s. So pick your color, pick your road name, and it'll look good on your layout.
Okay, so Jeffrey, why did you pick the New Jersey Central one? There's a particular reason why you do that? I know you're a huge New York Central fan, but I noticed you have a New Jersey in your hand there. Why'd you get that?
I just like the colors.
All right, that's a good answer.
When it comes down to freight cars, I try to keep it within a certain time frame. I like the New York Central Railroad between the 1930s to the 1950s. I got my Mohawk, steam engines on that. So anything that looks good, but truth is, these two cars, I like them. So
that's pretty good. I like color for concerts, so to me, I would have probably picked those colors as well.
Yep.
So what's some unique features about this? I know Lionel's been doing some stranger things, which are actually really good for the industry these days. And why don't you talk about some of the component parts that are in the box now that you didn't see before?
Yeah, well, the thing is with Lionel, they've been making the PS1 boxcars for quite some time, but these newest release of boxcars are really special. They've been doing a lot of different things. This one is an express boxcar. If you open up the door, I don't know if you can zoom in, but you have these little bulkheads on the inside that make it look like there's a box load. So it makes it look like there's a load. The grain door boxcar, I'm going to take that apart in a little bit, but you'll see why it's called the grain door boxcar. But other than that, the door's open. You have the wood floor on the bottom, the bulkheads. If you flip it over, you have your regular undercarriage detail. The Lionel, the Built by Lionel sign, which is a trademark of Lionel, used to be on the side of the car. Didn't look terribly prototypical because the real boxcars didn't say Built by Lionel when you saw them on the old railroads. So it's moved underneath here. It says Built by Lionel 2017. But what Lionel's been doing, because a lot of people are now moving into that 3-rail scale, people have been converting their rolling stock to the more prototypical KD couplers instead of the traditional lobster claws, as they used to call it. So when you open up the box, you get this nice little bag here that has the screws and the mounting pads for the KD couplers. So if you're the type of person that wants extreme realism, you could take this apart. It's very simple to take apart. Put the mounting pads on for the KDs. The KD couplers obviously are sold separately, but instead of drilling your own holes into it and potentially butchering the undercarriage of the boxcar, everything is right here in the package, ready to go. So if you are that person that's into 3-rail scale or 2-rail scale, you now have everything right here.
So Jeffrey, I just wanted to, on the point of this, on these KD couplers, I think most people use the 740s. I think it's the ones that Ben was a real fan of.
Right.
It goes right under there. I took one of these apart the other day, actually converted one of my Lionel boxcars. Once I bought the new couplers. Right. They really look prototypical. They really look well. So maybe what we'll do is sometime in the course of this video, we'll go grab one of the Budweiser or Schaefer cars that's down there, or the Valentine cars,
yeah,
and we'll come back with that, and we'll show people what the prototypical coupler looks like once it's converted. So, all right, so as we were talking about the KD couplers, I wanted to share with you what one of them looks like now, and it's on one of the cars. The KD coupler, you have to go out and buy it. You have to go buy the gear set with it. And I think for the cost of two of them is about $9.95, and you get the gearbox and you get the coupler on it. This is what it looks like. If you're running an engine that does not have or has not been converted to one of these types of KD couplers, you're going to have to create a dummy car, which will keep the old claw coupler on there, which will attach to your engine, and then this car will then attach to the back of your converted boxcars. So there's a little bit of a trick here. You can't just, unless you convert the engine, you're not going to be able to hook this thing up to it. So you're going to probably have to keep a dummy car in front where it has one of the old couplers, and then you can start converting these down there. Very simple to do. Basically, remove the truck, put the mounting plates on there, which are in the bag that come with it. Comes with 2 mounting plates and 4 screws. Add the gearbox, snap it all together, put the truck back on the car, and you're done. Takes me maybe 10 or 15 minutes in total to do this. That's the beauty about the new Lionel cars that Jeffrey was alluding to when they come out of the box now. They're designed for KD couplers if you want to go prototypical. All right, so we've moved from the layout to the room where we do all our repairs. And Jeffrey is going to go through the boxcar like we talked about outside on the layout. So Jeffrey, what do we got going on here?
So basically, before we take it apart, we took the doors off because I want you to get a better look. As I said, the Illinois Central car is what they called the grain door boxcar. Boxcars were a staple and are a staple on American freight trains because anything that needs to be kept dry can be put inside a boxcar. So merchandise, manufactured goods, rolls of paper, hobos, if it needs to be kept dry, it's in a boxcar. Now out in the Midwest where they would harvest all the grain, hopper cars came in a premium. So sometimes they'd run out of hopper cars. So what the railroads would do would put these boards across the door so they could bulk load the grain into the hopper car. So railroads in real life don't make money hauling empty cars. So Lionel took that to the next level by making your freight cars a little more realistic and making your railroads money. So if you are into that, the Midwest side and whatnot, and want to show off this grain car, you could run with the doors open, and you'll see these boards that go across and the grain on the inside. So what I'll do is I'll take the top off, and you can see what Lionel did was actually put a grain load inside the boxcar to make it look like a legitimate grain door boxcar. It still has the wood paneling on the bottom. If you take this out or you don't want to run it, it's fine. If you don't want the grain to show, honestly, just shut the door. But I think this is really cool what Lionel did, going the extra level, adding these nice details here. As you can see, they got the little nails in here, or fake nails, the boards that go across, the grain load. It looks like a legitimate boxcar full of grain. So I wanted to take the car apart so it's easier to see the extra level of detail that Lionel went into this, and it's just phenomenal. You won't get this from any other manufacturer.
So Jeffrey, when we took this car apart before we started filming to make sure that everything was really spectacular for this video, why don't you go through the 4 or 5 parts that we had to take apart or come out so that people can see what those parts look like.
So basically you have underneath the railroad car, you have the screws, which you can see here, the 2 large screws that will hold the frame on. You have to take off with a nice fine, small, flathead screwdriver. You would take the sliding rail frames from the bottom part of the door off. You would then take the door off, and then you are free to easily, as I did in the beginning, you just easily lift the frame off the car, and that's it. Really nothing to it.
All right, thank you very much, Jeffrey. Well, that's it for the New Jersey HiRailers review of the new boxcars that came out. Jeffrey did a fantastic job of explaining to you the history of the boxcars, why they were important to the railroads, and these unique Lionel train cars, boxcars that they put out that converted boxcars into hoppers. So we'd like to thank you very much for this video, Jeffrey. You did a great job with talking about the history.
Thank you.
Hope you all like this new video that we put out. Looking forward to seeing you the next time. So this is Kevin Martin,
Jeffrey Pottershman,
here at the New Jersey HiRailers in Patterson, New Jersey, saying thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Take care.